Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in, because we are diving into a truly mind-bending piece of writing today. We're going to unpack a highly specific, fascinating text from November 2023. It's by an author named Xuefeng, and it's titled How Far Are We from Heaven? Now, this text doesn't just ask abstract philosophical questions. No, it literally attempts to lay out an exact, measurable blueprint for achieving a heavenly existence. It's like a spiritual instruction manual. So grab your mental notepads, because the way this framework breaks down spirituality is incredibly unique, and we're going to explore exactly how the whole shebang works.
But before we get into the nitty-gritty of the author's rules, I want you to consider a fundamental question, one that humans have wrestled with for millennia. Is heaven just a destination we arrive at after we pass away, or is it more of a state of being, a tangible reality that we can actively construct right here on Earth through our own daily practices? Keep that in the back of your mind as we go, because Xuefeng's text takes a very definitive and very earthly stance on this ancient debate.
Section 1. The Earthly Heaven.
Right off the bat, the text introduces a really specific concept called the second home of life genuine. According to the source material, you might deny the existence of a spiritual heaven up in the clouds, but you absolutely cannot deny the existence of this second home. Why? Because the author defines it as a literal, physical replica of the lowest level of heaven established right here on Earth. It's presented not as some far-off dream, but as a functioning, real-world model. It's a huge claim. It sets the stage for a heaven grounded in a specific earthly community. So if this earthly heaven exists, how does a person actually get to live there? Well, let's look at the rigorous requirements.
Section 2. The Core Conditions.
Okay, so here is where it gets kind of quirky. The source text actually begins its list of requirements with condition number 4. It just drops us right into the deep end. This fourth condition emphasizes woo-woo, which translates to a profound state of selflessness. It means having only God in your heart, strictly following natural laws in absolutely every single word and deed, and, beautifully but demandingly, seeking nothing and holding on to nothing. It is a state of total, absolute ego surrender.
After that intense start, the text circles back to the first three conditions. Condition 1 requires abundant spiritual and mental wealth, plus sufficient merit. Condition 2 demands perfect harmony with the people around you. We're talking zero complaining, no nitpicking, no blaming, actually no demanding behavior whatsoever. And then there's Condition 3, which mandates a life consisting only of joy, happiness, freedom, and bliss, completely insulated from sorrow and fear. Just pause for a second and let the immense weight of that sink in. Absolute harmony. Constant joy, zero fear. These aren't just gentle lifestyle suggestions, they are absolute prerequisites in the text.
But wait, here is a bit of a mystery for you. Despite only detailing those 4 conditions, the selflessness of number 4, followed by 1, 2, and 3, the text later drops a fascinating anomaly. It explicitly warns that if we lack any of the 8 conditions, it'll be extremely difficult to reach heaven. 8? What are the other 4? Well, the provided text leaves that entirely open to interpretation. It leaves us guessing about the full scope of this rigorous curriculum. But mysteries aside, the text does give us enough to measure our current standing. Let's move from the rules to a little self-evaluation.
Section 3. Measuring your distance. So, how do we measure up? This brilliantly illustrates the text's specific grading scale, placing humanity into 3 distinct categories based on adherence. If you possess all the conditions, boom! You are literally living in heaven right now, experiencing continuous bliss. If you mostly meet them, you're hovering right on the edge of heaven, super close but not quite inside. And if you meet none of them, the text is completely blunt. Do not expect heaven in this lifetime. Your task is to seriously cultivate these traits so you might have a chance in the next life, or maybe the one after that. It's a very pragmatic, almost mathematical approach to spiritual progression, and it leads to a really surprising philosophical conclusion.
Section 4. The Ultimate Transformation. Because you guys, there is a major twist waiting for us at the end of this framework. Think about those standards we just reviewed. Never complaining, never feeling fear, total detachment from your own ego. I want you to genuinely reflect on human nature for a moment here. With all our biological drives, our daily frustrations, is it realistically possible for an ordinary human being to perfectly meet and maintain all of these conditions?
Well, according to Xuefeng's text, the definitive answer is no. It states it plainly. Perhaps you think that as humans we cannot meet the above conditions, and indeed, humans cannot achieve them. It's a striking moment of brutal realism in a text that is entirely focused on achieving a literal utopia. The author fully admits that the very nature of being human completely disqualifies us from meeting the required standards for this earthly heaven. So what's the workaround? Because our base human nature is a fundamental roadblock, Xuefeng's ultimate solution is that we must actively cultivate ourselves to transform into something else entirely, celestial beings. The earthly heaven of the second home isn't actually meant for humans at all. It's meant for those who have transcended their humanity through intense spiritual cultivation. The blueprint isn't just about changing your behavior. It's about fundamentally evolving your entire state of existence.
Which brings us to our final thought for today's explainer. If the source material itself admits that our human nature prevents us from achieving total success without completely transforming into celestial beings, is the pursuit still worth it? Does striving for an impossibly perfect earthly utopia hold ultimate value for the human experience, even if we only ever reach the edge of heaven? It's an incredibly powerful question about the purpose of our goals and spiritual cultivation. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into Xuefeng's blueprint. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.